Good evening, I'm David Common. Ian is away. Tonight, more family ties between the Liberal cabinet and a big charity that got a sole source federal contract.
On whether it's stupid, I think that Canadians have said that this is ridiculous on its face.
Justin Trudeau is in the spotlight. Now, Bill Morneau is too.
Women are still lagging in terms of recovery of the jobs.
An old pattern in the new jobs numbers, but signs of hope as well.
It's a problem that can come to Canada, even if it's not made in Canada.
With more pandemics on the way, what the world could do about it. And a global designation for a Nova Scotia landmark.
So this is really the creation of the modern world here 200 million years ago.
Now it's one of two new Canadian geoparks. This is The National. The Prime Minister is under fire and facing new questions tonight for an apparent conflict of interest. Today, the opposition called for a criminal investigation because the We charity was granted a large federal contract with no competitive bidding after Justin Trudeau's mother and brother were paid a total of nearly $300,000 to appear at We rallies. Now, Finance Minister Bill Morneau has also been shown to have a family link to the group. Here's David Cochrane on a troublesome day for the government.
They've already called in the ethics commissioner. Now the Conservatives say it's time to call in the police.
On the question of if it's criminal, that's for the RCMP to decide. On whether it's stupid, I think that Canadians have said that this is ridiculous on its face.
Stupid is how many Liberals are privately describing this. Dismayed that after being cited for ethical violations twice before, the Prime Minister could be facing a hat trick. From an improper vacation on the Aga Khan's Island, to improper meddling in SNC-Lavalin, to now playing a direct role in awarding a contract to a charity that made direct deposits to direct family members.
I want Prime Minister Trudeau and the Liberal cabinet to waive all confidentiality, disclose everything that happened around this, because there are just far too many questions that are unanswered.
Now revealed another direct tie between Cabinet and the We organization. Finance Minister Bill Morneau's daughter is an employee of the charity. Like the Prime Minister, Morneau did not recuse himself from the decision to hand the grants program over to We.
As you know, we get advice from our non-partisan government public service. We took that recommendation.
Cabinet ministers stuck to talking points when asked about the controversy and whether they knew the Trudeau family had been paid.
With respects to the contract that you're alluding to, any discussions that take place in Cabinet, as you're fully aware of, are subject to Cabinet confidentiality.
There was nothing new from the Prime Minister or his office. Justin Trudeau had no public events, no availability to take questions, of which there are many.
A lot going on there, David. So where is all this heading?
Yeah, the calls for disclosure, those are going to grow and continue. It's not clear yet what answers we're going to get, though. Earlier tonight on Power and Politics, I spoke with Pablo Rodriguez, the government House leader. I asked him, did you and the rest of Cabinet know about these financial connections with the Trudeau family when you awarded the contract? He cited Cabinet confidence, didn't answer. I said, will all the documents be released connected with this contract? He said the ones that can be released will be, but not necessarily all of the documents that are available. So the level of transparency, not yet clear. The level of anxiety, pretty high. The Liberals you talk to, they say they're angry. They say they're disappointed. They say they're dismayed that here they are yet again in another ethics investigation involving the Prime Minister and the people that are closest to him. And they fear that this is really going to stick to Justin Trudeau because this is about money for his family. It's simple and easy to understand. It's not the SNC-Lavalin controversy. And the big fear is that all of this could just undo some of the goodwill that they've earned for largely good work during this pandemic.
You'll keep digging and we'll keep watching. David Cochrane, thank you.
Thank you.
To some breaking news now from the world of hockey. After 4 months off the ice, the NHL has now laid out its official plan to return to play this summer. And all that play will be on Canadian ice. Beginning in early August, Edmonton and Toronto will serve as hub cities, hosting all the teams and games. Those will start just days after the players arrive in each location. Rafi Boudjikanian's outside one of those locations, Rogers Place in Edmonton tonight. So Rafi, questions of course about how to make all this safe, whether it will be. First, so how's the actual hockey going to work?
David, in a way, the NHL and the players say will be safe and will be healthy. They did spend a lot of time negotiating all this. So Edmonton will host the 12 Western Conference teams. Toronto will host the 12 teams in the East. The playoffs will go until early October, and then Edmonton is expected to host the conference finals as well as the Stanley Cup itself, something this city hasn't done since 2006, and this time it'll be whether or not the Oilers are at that final. And of course, nobody will be in the arenas except the players and staff themselves.
And yet, Rafi, all of these people together, players, coaches, team officials, during a pandemic, what has to happen to Edmonton and Toronto to avoid infection?
Well, in both cities, players and their families will be staying in what are being called bubbles. So in Edmonton, that means in hotels around the arena, and they'll be expected to use amenities close to the arena as well. The players are also expected to get tested every day for COVID-19. In fact, everyone in their entourages, and the players are also not supposed to go to each other's hotel rooms. Now, some are skeptical about that.
You're 21 years old, right? And you're supposed to sit in your room and watch Netflix? I just have a hard time believing that it'll happen. But even if they can keep everything exactly according to plan, you still worry that there will be breaches.
Now, David, keep in mind, Vancouver was starting off as a candidate for a hub city themselves, and ultimately they dropped out, citing safety concerns.
Absolutely. Rafi Boudjikanian, thanks very much. Now to news about Canada's economy from Inside StatsCan's latest jobs report. After the pandemic pushed Canada to record high unemployment in May, nearly 1 million more people were working in June, and those jobs were gained in every province. But the overall recovery is slow. There were still 1.8 million fewer jobs in June than in February. And as Jacqueline Hansen tells us, some of the hardest hit industries, like hospitality, are pushing hard to bounce back.
When the pandemic hit, hotels like this one cleared out.
We literally just watched our business walk out the door.
Occupancy fell as low as 3%.
Which is just a couple of rooms a night. This is unheard of in the industry.
The CEO was forced to close a few other locations and lay off staff, but as of June 1st, reopened and started rehiring. Occupancy is picking up, though it's still far below normal. So the company is relying on the federal wage subsidy to help pay workers.
If that goes away, I do fear that we would have to start to reevaluate our hotels for sure.
The accommodation and food services sector now has 2/3 of the jobs it did in February. Still, that lags behind the recovery of other sectors. New graduate Madeline Lemieux worries about searching for a job in tourism alongside industry veterans.
They have been there for 15 years and they've been let go of their jobs. And then there's me who's been out of school for a whole month now. Obviously, that's big competition.
For now, she feels lucky. She has a 10-week position funded by the Canada Summer Jobs Program. It's part of a shift from urgent relief like the CERB to support that helps restart the economy.
As people are returning to work, I think we will see more uptake on that wage subsidy.
Almost 2 million people who lost their jobs because of the pandemic are still out of work. And overall, women aren't recovering jobs as quickly as men.
Where female are more dominant in terms of labor, it is food and accommodation services, it is tourism, it is retail trade. And those industries, because of physical distancing, are really lagging the more male-dominated industries like construction and manufacturing.
The recovery of hospitality is further limited by travel restrictions, especially at the U.S. border.
I feel like we're at the mercy sort of both governments, and they have to do what's safe.
Still optimistic that at least the worst is over. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
With COVID-19, Canada has largely moved from a posture of crisis to vigilance. For a second consecutive day, the country detected more than 300 cases, thanks in part to an uptick in Quebec. At least 80 cases have now been traced to 2 house parties held south of Montreal and to this night spot where partygoers later congregated. BC officials have traced several cases to recent parties in the Kelowna area and are urging people to watch for symptoms and get tested. Meanwhile, Newfoundland detected its first case in more than 40 days, a man who had returned from travel to the U.S. But those incidents are reminders that the risk of a second wave looms. And as Evan Dyer explains, from the beginning, Canada's been playing catch up with one critical resource: personal protective equipment.
We are in an urgent scramble to secure personal protective equipment, and we will not let up until that task is accomplished.
Canada's procurement minister says PPE is pouring into the country.
We have had 97 flights from our warehouse in China coming into Canada.
But in the nation's capital, 30 paramedics have had to be reassigned away from the front lines because of a lack of N95 masks.
And we shouldn't have to, wonder where that next piece of equipment is going to come from.
Their union says some managers want paramedics to wear substandard respirators.
We don't agree with that. We think that for 17 years, the gold standard of mask has been an N95 mask.
Guidelines vary widely across the country.
How come that filters down so differently across 13 jurisdictions? That sort of sets up a sense of mistrust, or one of us is not being told the truth, not being allowed the right equipment. That's been a problem across the country.
In this Calgary hospital, staff were urged to conserve precious N95s.
There is value in having stockpiles, and there is value in having your own domestic control over things. I'm hoping that we recognize the value of being, as you say, masters of our own domain.
6,000 Canadian manufacturers have come forward with bids.
And what that suggests is that there is capacity in the Canadian economy to become self-sufficient in the area of PPE.
44 cents of every dollar the federal government spends on PPE are now going to Canadian companies, like this one in Oshawa.
They were doing a great job at that, but they wouldn't have had to scramble to do that if we had adequate stockpiles.
Something positive can come of this, experts say, if Canada really becomes self-sufficient. But the government has no excuse to ever be caught napping again. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Chelsea, Quebec.
The COVID-19 situation in the U.S. seems to be moving from bad to worse. Today alone, it registered nearly 60,000 new cases, yet another record high. And remember, this is a country that was already ravaged by a surge in cases months ago. Back then, New York was among the worst hit. This is what the state's curve looked like from mid-March to mid-April. Thousands of deaths followed. Now look at Texas over the past month, and here's Florida, 2 major hotspots. Epidemiologists fear they've seen this movie before, but as Salima Shivji shows us, the U.S. president seems to be watching something else. It's poll numbers.
A busy day for the president.
A lot of very good stuff, so we look forward to it.
Heading to Miami-Dade County, the heart of the virus's Florida epicenter. Flirting with infection records daily, dozens of hospitals at capacity.
Back in April, and this is now. This is how many admissions that we're having to our hospitals.
The lines to get tested impossibly long. And in this part of the state, more than 33% are coming back positive. Compounding the problem at ICU after ICU.
When you lose a 49-year-old who came in, told the nurse on day one, I don't think I'm leaving this hospital. And he was right. In all honesty, we don't feel like we're moving anywhere positive in the right direction. Very grateful also to be
But that's not the president's message while courting Florida's all-important Latino vote, downplaying the virus.
We're still fighting it, and we're going to do very well. We're testing at a level that nobody's ever tested before.
If you'd stand up.
Or at a visit to talk up drug enforcement, trying to change the subject entirely.
We're setting records on jobs. We're setting records on many different things.
But it's impossible to avoid. Greeted by masks at every turn, not wearing one himself, directly contradicting the advice of his own health officials.
We really believe that the uniform use of masks in all metros and in all areas with rising new infections, particularly counties and metros with over 5% positivity.
The pandemic is seeping into the president's plans, despite his best efforts. Plans for a weekend campaign rally in New Hampshire nixed officially because of the weather, but amid concerns a storm of new infections could follow in one of the few states where the spread of the virus is still stable. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Washington.
And a new development to tell you about tonight. The U.S. president has commuted the sentence of his longtime friend and advisor, Roger Stone. It comes just days before Stone was due to report to prison. He had been sentenced in February for crimes related to the Russia investigation. The White House says Stone was a victim of a hoax. Democrats denounced Trump's intervention, calling it offensive to the rule of law. According to the World Health Organization, today marked a new record with more than 228,000 new COVID-19 cases worldwide. The WHO has also launched a probe looking into the pandemic's origins.
One of the big issues is to look at whether or not it jumped from species to a human and what species it jumped from.
An advanced team is headed to China to organize the investigation. Scientists believe COVID-19 emerged in nature before it began infecting humans at a market in Wuhan late last year. Margaret Evans tells us about the wildlife advocates who say that protecting the health of nature will help protect us.
The face of a pandemic, repeating across the globe and destined to do so again and again unless humankind rescues its relationship with the natural world. That's the warning from authors of a UN report this week on zoonotic diseases, the ones that can jump between animals and humans, things like SARS, Ebola, and COVID-19.
For these new diseases which are emerging at the interface of people, of wildlife, of domestic animals, of degraded environments, I think we need more and better coordination.
75% of emerging infectious diseases come from animals, according to the report. And the more we exploit them and destroy ecosystems, it says, the more there will be. It urges a One Health approach, human, animal, and environmental, to stop the next one. Veterinarian Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka is an early advocate. She founded an NGO in Uganda called Conservation Through Public Health, as much to protect the great apes from humans as the other way around.
You know, because we share over 98% genetic material and can make each other sick, it's very likely we can easily make these great apes sick.
She also believes curbing the illegal wildlife trade is key.
Overexploitation, going into the wild to pick animals, deforestation, habitat degradation brings us closer and closer to wildlife in a way that it shouldn't be.
Other factors mentioned include population growth, a rise in mass and unsustainable farming, and climate change. Conservationists caution against treating COVID-19 as a health issue alone.
I do wish also that it will be taken as an environment issue, because that's the way you can deal with this in the long term.
Another message, no country can afford to turn a blind eye.
It's a problem that can come to Canada, even if it's not made in Canada.
A sad truth, perhaps, that it might take a threat to humankind to save the species we share the planet with. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
An Amber Alert remains in effect in Quebec tonight for a pair of girls and their father. Police are staying optimistic.
We are still thinking that the three person, Martin Carpentier and the two girls, Nora and Romy, are still alive.
Carpentier's girlfriend made this tearful appeal for him to make contact and reassure the family. 11-year-old Nora Carpentier and 6-year-old Romy Carpentier were last seen Wednesday night. They were believed to have fled a car crash south of Quebec City. Premier François Legault says 80 people are involved in the search. Police in Ottawa are apologizing for their handling of this 911 call.
You're intimidating her, sir, okay? Can you just stand to the side and let...
I'm standing to the side. I'm not intimidating her.
When a white woman encountered a black man on a city park bridge this week, she called the police when he refused her demand to move. The woman wanted him to get off the bridge so she could pass from a distance.
I automatically knew that she was trying to use that as a weapon against me.
That man said he was resting at the bridge after a bike ride and that there was enough distance between them for her to cross safely. Police apologized today and said the woman used 911 inappropriately. Ottawa's Integrity Commissioner says local councillor Rick Chiarelli should face the most severe penalty for his alleged behavior. He's recommending the suspension of 9 months' salary, more than $79,000. A CBC News investigation last fall spoke to many women who accused the veteran politician of sexual misconduct. A world-class designation tonight for a quarter of Nova Scotia.
I just wanted to thank everyone who believed and everyone who supported this dream.
Ahead tonight, the Cliffs of Fundy get their spot on the world stage. And the record-setting tropical storm with millions in its path.
It was like wrath of God. It was like nothing I've ever seen.
And later, the little boy who feared the police because he was Indigenous, until he met his new friend.
If he didn't come into my life, I probably would have been a lot more scared.
A moment of fear sparks a life-changing friendship. We're back in 2. Tropical storm Faye made landfall near New Jersey today, bringing heavy rain, flooding, and strong winds. It's the storm we mentioned earlier that prompted the Trump campaign to postpone a Saturday rally in New Hampshire. It's expected to weaken tomorrow as it moves north, but there is a chance it will bring some weekend impacts to parts of eastern Canada. Church, mosque, museum. The historic Hagia Sophia has seen it all. A symbol of secular Turkey, it attracts millions of visitors each year. Now, as Renee Filipponi tells us, it's going back to being a mosque, and that's causing a religious and political divide.
The Hagia Sophia holds the story of Turkey's past. Founded in the 6th century as a cathedral, it was converted to a mosque in the 15th century and a museum in the 20th. Today, the court ruled it should be a mosque again. We have been waiting for this news for a long time, says this woman. She has plans to pray as soon as possible. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says it will open for prayers in 2 weeks. He sees the change as an opportunity for Turkey to exercise its sovereign rights. But it's a controversial one that hits at the heart of the country's religious secular divide.
It's not just an incredible place of worship, but it has images of Jesus Christ and Mary and names of Allah and Prophet Muhammad written in Arabic, all in the same space.
This Turkish journalist and writer worries about the message it sends to the Christian minority, calling it a political move by a populist leader.
It's not an accident that he's doing this right at the time that his support is going down to some extent because of the discontent in Turkey, a bad economy, a lot of complaints with corruption and authoritarianism. There are a few new parties that actually appeal to the religious voters that are challenging Erdogan.
The move has been condemned by the head of the Eastern Orthodox Church and by neighboring countries like Greece. Even Erdogan's ally, Russia, says it's a mistake.
Is going to play that up as saying, you know, I'm still a strong leader. I don't care what the international community says. I'm standing up to, you know, foreign powers.
The government says Hagia Sophia will still welcome tourists and Christians, but UNESCO calls Turkey's decision regrettable and says it will be reviewing its status as a World Heritage Site. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, London.
UNESCO has made a decision about 2 spots in Canada. Ahead on the National, we'll take you to Canada's new global geoparks. But first, the doctor answers your pandemic questions, including this one. Right now, it's too hot to exercise outdoors, especially for seniors. Are air-conditioned malls a safe option if I maintain social distancing and wear a mask? The answer, right after the break. Welcome back. It's time to answer your COVID-19 questions. As we approach 4 months of the pandemic, the questions you're asking are evolving, so let's get right to it. With me tonight, infectious diseases specialist, Dr. Susie Hoda. Good evening, Dr. Hoda.
Good evening.
So first question here has to do with masks and breathing. My friend says oxygen is important to keep up your immune system, and masks reduce your oxygen levels, which makes them detrimental. Is that true?
Well, oxygen is important to support all your bodily functions. It's actually how your cells make energy. But that said, I haven't seen any medical or scientific evidence that shows that wearing a mask depletes your body of oxygen or lets any harmful gases like carbon dioxide build up. Now, you might feel uncomfortable if you're wearing a mask for a while. You might get hot or even become more aware of your breathing. But it's not dangerous, and I certainly can attest to it as a healthcare worker, having worn a mask for a long period of time over the course of a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's go on to our next question. Right now, it's too hot to exercise outdoors, especially for seniors. So are air-conditioned malls a safe option if I maintain social distancing and wear a mask?
I would say yes. I mean, I think it's great that people are thinking about maintaining their physical activity and their health through the pandemic. And I would encourage you to take walks within air-conditioned buildings like malls. It's safer than doing exercise outdoors when it's really hot. And as long as you're able to distance from people and it's not a crowded building, it would be a safe environment. The only other thing I would say is just be aware of how old the building is, because the ventilation system may not be as good in an older building or as well maintained. And you want to have good air circulation through that building.
Okay, here's a question that I was actually thinking about just today in the grocery store. Here's a viewer asking, are face shields an acceptable alternative to masks indoors? Are they only helpful as an additional precaution?
So face shields are presented by the WHO as an alternative to face masks for this purpose. But the problem is they're just not that well studied yet. Now, that research is very active right now, so there are studies underway. And the added benefit of wearing a face shield is that you can actually cover your eyes as well. And you can get COVID-19 if infectious droplets land on your eyes. So that's one of the positives. One of the negatives of face shields, however, is that they don't fit your face like a mask does. So, you could be potentially exposed from below, or if it shifts, your mouth might get exposed.
Just a few seconds left for one more question. If I put my disposable gloves and paper mask in separate paper bags after I've grocery shopped, can I reuse them? And if so, how long do I need to wait?
So I'm not a big fan of wearing gloves in public. I think that what it does is people get a false sense of security. I'd rather you invest in having hand sanitizer and using that frequently when you're touching surfaces. But if you're going to wear gloves, you should dispose of them right after you use them. With masks, if you're well trained in them, you can reuse the disposable masks, even though they are meant to be single use, as long as they're not wet or they don't get dirty and they're still in good shape. But you have to really know what you're doing to do that carefully and safely.
Dr. Susie Hoda, appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. We're asking your questions about COVID-19 as often as possible, so send us the questions you have. You can message us directly on Instagram at CBC The National, or you can send us an email at covid@cbc.ca. And when we come back, an encounter with Calgary police that forever changed one man's life.
This is where he almost ended my life, right here.
Left in the cold and beaten, why 5 years later his fight for justice isn't over. It's been 46 days since George Floyd died after a police officer kneeled on his neck for nearly 9 minutes. Hardly the first time police brutality has been so raw for all to see. And a new documentary from CBC Doc's POV sheds light on cases here in Canada. Filmmakers Marc Serpa-Francoeur and Robinder Uppal found stories of men and their families who allege excessive force and abuse of power by Calgary police, detailing their painstaking and unequal search for justice. Tonight, you'll hear one of those stories. Here is an excerpt from Above the Law.
Man, it was nice. Life was great when I came here. Like, there's so many opportunities, you know. There's jobs, there's
Life was good before the whole incident. I knew where I was going, I knew what I was doing with my life. But then, after the incident, everything just kind of went downhill. This Calgary police van pulled behind the car. They came out, told us to push the car. So I told him, hey, look, we tried to push the car. If you can't help us in any way, just leave us alone. To my surprise, they wrestled me to the ground. They put handcuffs on me, put me in the back of the police van. I was just like, what are you guys doing? Like, I haven't done anything wrong, so where are you guys taking me? They just kept on driving. They got to East Village, they stopped there. They took my handcuffs off and they told me to beat it. So they just got in the van and just drove off. So I'm stuck at this location. I don't know where I'm at. I'm from Africa. Where I'm from, you don't see none of this -25, -30. We don't see none of that. I was just wearing like a tracksuit. I didn't have gloves or no toque or anything. There's no buildings I can go stay warm. I'm scared. Like, I was panicking. I was feared for my life. And also construction everywhere, like cranes up here. I couldn't call the taxi at that time because my phone was dead, but I had a friend's phone that he had dropped when I went to go pick them up. My only option was to call 911.
Calgary Police, what's the address of your emergency?
Okay, Calgary cops picked me up for no reason, just left me here.
Left you where?
I don't know. They just left me here.
He told me it's only for emergency service. So they hanged up on me and I called again. He walked all across to where I was. Told me to stop calling 911 asking for help and stuff. He pushed me, I got up, trying to run away from him. He tasered me so quick. He put handcuffs on me and I just remember this guy just beating me up, punching me in the face, knees to the back. This is where he almost ended my life, right here. They put me in the police van, read me my rights, and said I was being charged for assaulting a police officer. At that time, I didn't really have much to say to them. Like, I was just so weak and like so broken down, you know, like just in so much pain. They finally took me out. I got on the train. I'm all bruised up, you know, lips busted up. I'm bleeding, and people are just looking at me like, what happened to you, you know? I called my friend. As soon as he walked in, he's like, holy shit, what happened to you, man? Then we went to the hospital, and when we got there, I was in so much pain, I could barely stand. So I stayed at my friend's house for like almost a week, because I was scared to come home, because they knew where I lived. I was having like flashbacks. The images just keeps repeating itself in my head, you know? So I was just terrified, man. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to be alone, I guess. I was like, man, I gotta do something about this, you know? I can't just let them get away with this. I thought they were gonna drop the charges, but then after like a year or so, I spoke to my lawyer. She's like, yeah, this is gonna go to trial, so get ready.
The only basis by which Godfrid was charged with assault was that there was some sort of gesture. There was never any allegation that he'd actually hit anybody or pushed anybody or had any physical contact. Of course, I've heard before stories from people who have been charged with assaulting a police officer and have said that they, in fact, were the ones assaulted. So it wasn't anything new to me, but his demeanor really drew my attention. He kept saying it's a construction site. There's got to have been some video there. Somebody had to have a camera there. You've got to get the cameras and show what happened to me. And so that was really remarkable for me. Why would he be encouraging me to try and get evidence of what he was telling me if he were making something up? So we're back in courtroom 1008. This is the very courtroom where Godfrid was prosecuted. The day of the trial, I felt scared for Godfrid. 3 uniformed police officers standing up under oath and telling their version of events, and Godfrid standing on his own. I didn't feel confident, and I felt scared for him. The trial commenced with Constable Denockley. He conceded that he had thrown Godfrid to the ground. That event ended with Denockley putting Godfrid into a police vehicle and then, for no logical reason, drove away from that scene and just left him off on a street corner wearing a little sweat jacket and a pair of sweatpants. This was -28 in frigid Calgary weather, and he just left him there with no regard at all for his safety. Looking at the video, I see Godfrid handcuffed. The police officers are dragging him along, and he kind of falls, or maybe he is trying to stand up, but ultimately he falls to his back. And then we see the police officer punching him in the head. It looks like he's kneeling on one knee and striking him with his other knee repeatedly around the head and chest and upper body area. And there is no possibility that Godfrid is in any way resisting or attacking. He's on the ground on his back with his hands cuffed, pulled up above his head, and there is no escape. There is no escape for that kid.
150. Like with all this evidence, with all these videos and everything, they still went on with the trial and they actually tried to lock me up for doing nothing.
Sure, but you need EMS. Negative, but the back out.
It makes me feel like he's like profiling me, you know? Like, you just did this to me. Who is the bad guy? The guy who puts an innocent guy in handcuffs, taser him, beat him up for no reason? Or the guy that needed help and got tortured? Who is the bad guy?
Judge McElhargy found that the police officers were not credible and was not able to find in any way that Godfrid assaulted the police officer, and Godfrid was acquitted. Had we not had a video recording, we would have had Godfrid standing up in court and saying, the police officers are lying. And I can't imagine any judge going out on a limb and saying, you're right, it's you that's telling the truth. That would have been a very hard sell for Godfrid.
I grew up in Ghana, helping my uncle like repair cars and stuff like that. And came to Canada, I wanted to be a heavy-duty mechanic as well. That's what I wanted to do. But after this incident, I had to drop everything because, I mean, how am I going to be a heavy-duty mechanic with back problems, right? Prior to this incident, I didn't have no health issues. I was strong and healthy, and I was a go-getter, you know? But after the back injuries and all this stuff, it just kind of slowed me down. I filed a complaint 5 years ago, and nothing has been done about it. All these officers are still working. Who knows what they're doing out there?
The officer who struck Godfrid Adai is not working. Constable Trevor Lindsay is currently suspended without pay. He was found guilty of aggravated assault, but over another incident where he beat and threw a man in handcuffs to the ground. Incidents like this can bring up the argument that these are the result of individual officers. Here's Calgary's police chief on that.
I think for too long, organizations have done this where when something goes wrong, they hang out an individual to dry and then they say, well, there we go. We dealt with that. Bob was bad and we dealt with Bob and now we're good. But I think, this bad apples versus bad barrel, they're very different things. And I think we've always got to be looking at the barrel to make sure it's not the barrel that is actually tainting the apples.
You'll hear more of that in the full documentary, Above the Law, which airs tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on CBC Television, or you can stream it now on CBC Gem. Next on The National, a Nova Scotia landmark gets a global designation.
It's just so amazing. It can't be just kept to yourself.
The Cliffs of Fundy, one of Canada's newest geoparks, and a very welcome boost during difficult times. Newfoundland and Labrador's Bonavista Peninsula and Nova Scotia's Cliffs of Fundy Park have been honored by UNESCO for their natural and cultural value. The designation as part of a geopark comes as the tourism sector struggles under COVID-19. And in the case of Nova Scotia, communities in the zone recover from the tragedy at nearby Portapique. Kayla Hounsell shows us what makes the Cliffs of Fundy so special.
The towering Cliffs of Fundy are striking, but they also tell a story. Brian Hibbert makes his living telling that story.
All the lava spewed up through, and this is what's left.
Today we're along for the tour, but for Hibbert it's more like a treasure hunt. He's searching for crystals.
See inside?
Whoa!
When we're finding something that nobody's ever seen before, that gets really exciting. It's kind of addictive.
UNESCO geoparks have to have geology and culture of international importance. The Bay of Fundy is home to the highest tides in the world, and scientists say these islands and the rock that forms them are evidence of the moment the world's supercontinent broke apart, drifting into the positions the continents are in today.
So this was really the creation of the modern world here 200 million years ago.
John Calder started the work to turn the Cliffs of Fundy into a geopark years ago. There are now 5 in Canada and only 161 on the planet.
If you're a geologist and you work in places like this, you can't help but want to share the story with Nova Scotians and with people from all over the world because it's just so amazing. It can't be just kept to yourself.
The UNESCO designation likely means many people are about to discover this area, but the Mi'kmaq have always known the value of this place. It wasn't called a geopark then, but they were the first geologists, selecting rocks for their tools and for ceremonial use in sweat lodges.
Our ancestors have been here for over 13,000 years according to archaeological evidence. So it's very exciting for the Mi'kmaq.
It's also welcome news for the communities within the park, one of which is Portapique, where a shooting spree that left 22 people dead began.
We fully recognize all the hardship and the tragedy and the grieving that is going on. I believe this will be part of the healing process.
These crystals right there are really remarkable.
For Brian Hibbert, the UNESCO designation is a boost during a time when tourism operators are struggling.
It's hard to talk.
For John Calder, it's a passion project realized.
I just wanted to thank everyone who believed and everyone who supported this dream.
One man's dream, now an opportunity for a region ready to embrace positive change. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, at the Cliffs of Fundy Global Geopark.
Terrific. And The Moment is next. We'll be right back. As Kingston Gallant watched the recent protests and riots on the news, the 10-year-old, who is Indigenous, got so scared he didn't want to leave his house for fear of police. So his mom reached out to the local police station to see if an officer would come by and have a chat. Someone did, and the friendship that formed is our moment.
I seen George Floyd and a whole bunch of Black Lives Matter, and I was scared. I'm Indigenous, and our family has a long history about police not being on our side. I told my mom about it, and I told her I was afraid of the police, and she called the police station, and she asked for an officer to come. Peter came, and at first I was intimidated. I was like, whoa, very tall, it's a police officer, so. And then we got to talking and playing some basketball. And he explained to me why there is some bad people in the world, but there's a lot more good people, and police are here to help you.
He's like my buddy. We have common interests as well. He's a big basketball fan. Well, I just enjoy the kid. I got a kid named Kingston. It just kind of worked out that way. I'm not going to pretend I know what it feels like, but I want him to understand, that he should feel safe, that I want him to feel safe.
If he didn't come into my life, I probably would have been a lot more scared about police, and he also changed my perspective of the police too.
Nice to see. I mean, obviously that's not going to be what solves all the systemic issues, but it is still lovely to see these two get together and throw some hoops around. That's The National. Have a great night.